Oh, say, can you see?
Oh, we actually Hi everyone, welcome to GameGorgon. My name is Krug.
I'm Indigo.
And today we're here to talk to you about Anthem, which is potentially the final nail in the BioWare coffin.
Yeah. So we just got an announcement that Anthem will be pushed into 2019 instead of coming out in 2018, which isn't a huge surprise because when we saw the E3 footage, it was just like, look at this really pretty cinematic. I promise you it's gameplay. Yeah. And the game looks cool. Like, it's got a really cool concept behind it. It's got a really interesting idea behind it. I mean, it's...
Actually, really is a strong word. It has an interesting concept behind it. I'll give it that.
Hey, you're in this post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
You can't leave this city unless you're in these giant robotic suits.
Right.
Go out there, kill monsters.
I mean, to me, it just kind of feels like, look at this trope and this trope.
Yeah, I think it could be really fun. Like, if it's done right, it could be fun. But
so can most things.
the emoji movie couldn't have been done well from anyone.
I don't know. If there was gore in that movie, I would have watched it 4 times. Just like them fighting and like punching. Cut that out. That's awful.
Now, we know it's going to be pushed into 2019, but if they want to get it in the 2019 fiscal year, we know that they're going to have to publish it before March of 2019, and then even sooner because of EA Access and Beta.
Right. Because if they decide that they're not going to release it to EA Access, they're going to have a ton of people unsubscribing from EA Access because there's a set of expectations there. Like, and I pay you per month. Why is this not in EA Access? You can't just decide not.
So it is being pushed into the year, but it's going to be in the first portion of the year, which is cool, great, if they want to make that deadline. And I think it's important for BioWare to do that because the last game that they made was Mass Effect Andromeda, and it didn't do well.
It has a 4.5 out of 10 on Metacritic.
Yeah.
And it's a Mass Effect title. Like, that 4 is probably just coming from the fact that it has the word mass and effect.
I believe one of the comments was, reasons to buy it, it's got the Mass Effect title in
it.
Yeah.
Reasons not to buy it, it's boring.
Yeah.
And then, like, a bunch of other problems, which you all probably know.
Yeah, we're not going to go heavily into why Mass Effect didn't succeed, but it kind of put a lot of weight and is putting a lot of pressure on BioWare as a whole, and it's even more so on Anthem because this is a new title.
New
IP. They've canceled the Mass Effect series, so we won't be seeing any more of those.
Focus defenses here and here. The Ket have been quiet for too long. See? No reason we can't be civilized.
So really the only games that they have on in the future is Star Wars The Old Republic, which is basically in maintenance mode at this point, Dragon Age, which they're rebooting the series because the ending of the last one didn't really do that amazingly, and now Anthem. So this is putting a ton of pressure, and if it doesn't do well, my suspicion is that we're either not going to see BioWare anymore, or we're going to see a very, very shook up, very changed up BioWare team.
And this is kind of where our opinions differ, because I think that BioWare is such a household name, and yes, the name is tarnished severely at this point. It's such a household name that I don't think they'll ever drop the name BioWare for another name. I think that if they're going to make any broad changes, it's just going to be like, hey, here's the BioWare team, put them over here. And here's a different team, completely different set of people. You're called BioWare now. Go make games, please. And that's like the extent of what they're gonna do.
And it's EA. I think they'll just cut them. I think they'll just say, you know what? No, the brand has lost its name. If Mass Effect, which was supposed to be a huge, massive, amazing game, failed horribly, did a very bad job, got a bad name.
Your enthusiasm is infectious.
And then Anthem comes out and does the same thing, I basically think that the majority of people who know Mass Effect for Mass Effect are not even going to be interested in its other games.
It's easier to clean something than to build something from scratch.
I mean, that's not true in the video game world, because it's really hard if you have a shitty name like EA, it's really hard for you to fix your mistakes.
You know what? I will be on your team if this conversation ends with EA closing as a company.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, if It is possible. You can't be too big to fail. That's not a real thing.
That's true. You can fail regardless of your size, but it makes it way harder.
Yes, I agree. But EA has repeatedly failed, has repeatedly had failure game after failure game. You know, stuff that's going on with Battlefront on that genre, in that world, the Star Wars world, that's going to put a tarnish between EA and Disney, who owns the Star Wars rights. And we know that Disney's willing to pull rights away from people, like we saw with the Marvel Heroes game. Mm-hmm. So it is very possible that EA could and really needs to have a successful and really strong staple game right now, because there isn't one out right now. The EA does not have it unless it's a sports game. And at that point, I can't make any comments because I hate sports games. They're just the worst.
Just like we both hate sports, can you tell?
Now, everything that's going on with Mass Effect's failure, we actually saw Aaron Flynn, who was the head of BioWare, actually leave, and Casey Hudson coming back in to take over the mantle again. He used to be there way in the back, and this is just more proof to show you how much EA is putting pressure on BioWare. Is that they're just hammering down on these guys to really get their
I
shit
definitely
together.
agree to that. I don't know what their end game is. I don't know what their contingency plan is for a fact. I do agree that there's a lot of pressure on them to succeed with this game. That having been said, I don't think it's going to get there. I don't think that Anthem, when it comes out, is going to be the holy grail of game that they need in order to be considered what they were back in the day, back in the BioWare heyday.
Yeah, and it looks like the majority of the entire BioWare team is actually working on Anthem right now because they're pushing for the 2019 release, while a smaller team is working on both the new Dragon Age as well as Star Wars of the Old Republic. Which that's not surprising at all.
They have some really good IPs too. Like if they close or if they like sunset all of the BioWare IPs, I'm just gonna be real pissed.
The other interesting thing that I kind of want to point out, because we're talking about Dragon Age a lot, is that Mark Dara is now the executive producer for both Dragon Age and Anthem. Like, that's crazy.
That's a lot of work.
Because back in June, he actually said he had nothing to do with Anthem. And then in January, this month, they announced
He has something to do with Anthem.
yeah, he's the executive producer.
Well, and you'd think that if they were trying to put so much effort into making Anthem something that like saves the brand, that they would do it with a dedicated resource as opposed to like, hey, you need to make this game the best. Oh, also, Dragon Age reboot over here for you too. Why would you do that? Why would you make that choice? Unless the executive producer title does absolutely nothing.
I mean, they make all the decisions. We don't know what's going on. Why don't you guys go down in the comments and let us know. Do you think this is the end-all be-all for BioWare? Or do you think that no matter how shitty Anthem is, that they're still going to be the BioWare name and is still going to be a successful company? While you're down, though, hit the subscribe button.
I never said the successful company.
While you're down there, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so that you can get notifications for all of our posts.
Do that.
And hit us up on Twitter. My Twitter handler is at IndigoQT.
I'm at CrewQT on Twitter. You can also reach both of us at _QueueTimes. You can also reach both of us in the comments section. Wink, throwback to a video that we just recorded but released a couple days ago. Wink, wink.
We have been GameGorgon. See you guys tomorrow. Actually, see you Friday. Bye, guys. And by Friday, I mean Monday.
Wow.